Don't let fear win. Get out there and experience life and find the things that you like and have a preference for, and areas where you feel like you can maybe find your tribe and express yourself and really help and serve others.
Today we get to speak with Joel Clelland. He's the CEO for Centric, a global digital currency. With over 20 years of diverse career experience, Joel has moved in the education, finance, and philanthropy sectors. Joel emphasizes investor education and partnerships. He is very excited about Centric's move to the Binance Smart Chain, which will bring more opportunities for partnerships and an amazing user experience. Now, Centric's number one focus is solving volatility in the cryptocurrency space, and number two focus is the full integration of the Centric network for merchant services, both on the e-commerce side as well as traditional brick and mortar over the coming months and years. We want to save people and businesses money and make the payment process easier and faster. When we learn about money in our world, we make better financial decisions that improves our families' lives, our communities, and the world at large. So let's listen into this episode as we learn a little more about Joel Clelland, the CEO for Centric. Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. We're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life who want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. Hey Joel, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Great to be here today, Junaid.
Awesome, man. We've been connected for so long through Unconventional Leaders, through the daily meetings that we would have. That was such a great thing for mental health. I would recommend anybody who has the opportunity to go on daily meetups with people, especially now that we're staying home. I mean, it's opened up now. We're in 2021 now, but it's really awesome to reconnect with you. How have you been?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much. I'm glad we were able to finally catch up on your podcast.
Absolutely, man. So tell us a version of your journey that no one has heard of before.
Wow, that's a toughie. I shared a lot of stories along the way.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let me see. Let me pick one out. This is something only one person knows about. Mm-hmm. I actually had breakfast with a gentleman today who's been a friend for over 15 years.
Wow.
And he's a traditional financial advisor. Mm-hmm. And he and I have worked on some projects together along the way. We worked together at one point. And it's just a breath of fresh air when you sit down with someone who really puts others first.
No, absolutely.
He's a certified financial planner. He's a fiduciary. So he has to do things right mm-hmm. for people. And he genuinely cares, which I like a lot. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that care, but it's really refreshing when you meet somebody and you can just tell that they are putting others first.
100%. Because, as being human beings, when you make other people feel like how you want to be felt, it just takes that relationship to a whole new level. A lot of people don't realize that because, well, it's kind of weird, but it's the culture or it's the system that we're growing up in where they focus on individualism. But what's really important is that we got to take care of the people that are around us.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I was happy to share that story. You're the first person I've shared that story with. So
I love it, man. Thank you so much.
I think I gotta probably stay fairly close to where I am today, because if I go back in the past, I'm sure people have heard those stories.
Awesome. So tell me, what is some of your motivations? What are some of the motivations for the things that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, on a daily basis. That's a good one. Well, about a year or so ago, I started meeting with a personal coach, like a fitness coach. Mm-hmm. And I started meeting with her because I wanted to initially lose some weight and have more energy. And we had a great relationship. And I think she took me to a certain level and she educated me on some things I wasn't super clear on. But I eventually found a new coach who I've been with since last October, and I feel like a new person.
Wow.
I think when you find the right people, it doesn't have to be a coach or a mentor. It could just be a friend or somebody that you're working with, even a spouse.
Yeah.
Where you're gaining certain knowledge about self that kind of help you get to that next level. And I think it's interesting because as I've gone through this personal health journey, my professional journey has changed as well, which I think is kind of significant.
No, 100%, right? As it's like, I talk about this all the time. We as human beings, we're constantly growing, right? As our kids, we talk about our kids, right? They go from grade 1 to grade 2 to grade 3. And as they grow, they have different needs. They have different things that they are interested in as well. And same thing happens with us. We think that we should stay the same, but the funny thing is, every once in a while, or as we're growing up, we want different things in our lives as well. We are growing mentally, we're growing physically, and as well as spiritually, right? So it's so important to find the people that can help push us past those boundaries, get uncomfortable, and be in spaces where it's just gonna help you be a better person.
Can I add to that?
Absolutely, yes.
I had a friend, and I don't even remember who it was. It was a female friend, and she asked me. This was like a few weeks ago. She said, "Joel, are you the same? Are you the same person that you were 15, 20 years ago?" And I said, "I sure hope not." I sure hope not. I mean, I have my core values maybe are the same.
Yeah.
The way I see the world, for the most part, is maybe the same. But I think we're becoming new people all the time. Yeah. I mean, you've heard the saying, you can't put your foot in the same river twice. I don't believe you can put your foot in the same river once, because that river is constantly changing. By the time your foot is fully submerged, it's a different river.
Absolutely.
And so our experiences, I wouldn't say they change us, but they will develop us if we allow them to.
Yes.
And I think, and I know you agree with this, Junaid, is that it gives us a better perspective about humanity.
It does.
And like, how can I be more of a service to my fellow man? How can I help my community more?
100%.
No matter what it is, no matter what area it's in, whether it's education or commerce or philanthropy, how can I be more of a service?
Yeah. So coming to service, what are some of your expertise that you share with, so talking about our audience, because most of my audience is looking to grow, just like you and I have been growing in the past year. My audience is also looking to grow. What are some of your expertise that you can share, some tips that you can share for the audience so that they can implement in their life right away? What are some of the things that you can share?
Never give up on people. Sometimes they give up on themselves, but don't give up on them. And I always say provide a wide berth, 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 like the boats coming in. Provide a wide berth for people to grow, because we all have to grow. I mean, we're not done, right? We're not done yet.
No.
And so allowing people to make mistakes and allowing yourself to make mistakes, I think, is huge. And I'd say in that context, when you provide that, I know it's kind of a buzzword, safe zone.
Safe zone.
If you provide a safe space or safe zone for people, they're going to feel like they can grow with you because you're nurturing.
Yes.
And I think part of servant leadership is being nurturing, being a good listener. My wife used to hit me in the shoulder because she'd say, "Yeah, Joel, for you, active listening is you listening to me and doing something else at the same time." That's not active listening. So we like right now, it's great because you and I are both in little boxes in different parts of the world.
Yes.
It's easy for you and I to focus on each other.
It is.
And give our full attention to each other. But I'd say that's probably a big one, is people just want to be heard. Whether it's in business or in just community and family life, is people want to be heard, and they don't always want us to fix things for them, because that's part of their journey too. Exactly. Is that they're evolving on their own, and learning and solving problems on their own, but they want support. And I think if we can be support to a point, obviously people with good hearts and good intentions get taken advantage of sometimes.
Yeah.
But as long as we kind of keep that in mind as we're out there, we don't worry about, oh, am I going to run out of energy? If I run out of energy, I'll just go home and take a nap.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again in the best possible way that I can to serve.
No, 100%. You're absolutely right. We need to have we need to be graceful, right? We need to allow people to make mistakes and figure out how to solve that mistake. I was watching a TikTok video the other day, and this gentleman was like, when he was younger, his mom told him that children just want to be heard. Just like people want to be heard, children want to be heard. And it really struck me because you can't really tell our kids what to do. Because that's
true.
That's ordering them around, right? And just like we don't like to be ordered around, children, they have free will just like we do. So they come from that same perspective. And it really, it really made me think. And it's like, if you're putting a limitation or having an expectations, well, if you have your 20-year-old still living in the basement and doesn't think he can do much of himself, well, you put him there because you didn't nurture him, right? Plants don't want to stay in a little pot all the time. Like when you plant a seed in the pot, it's going to grow, it's going to nurture, and you got to then transplant it to a larger box, and maybe even eventually put it outside. So just like we grow plants, we got to give the same grace and patience to our children, to the people around us.
I agree. I think about the things that make me wince and the things that make me smile. And the things that make me wince is when I've really failed with my kids. The things that make me smile is when they've found their way on their own, and I just kind of provided the environment.
Yeah.
It's like, they figured it out. That's
Absolutely.
great.
Absolutely, man. That's so beautiful. So Joel, tell me, what have you been up to in the past year, and where are you looking to go and grow with what you're up to?
Right. So the pandemic, I think, impacted people in a variety of ways, and many people kind of hunkered down and they just kind of stayed put. And then there's those of us that kind of took action and initiative. It's like, well, what can I do? There's a lot of things that the powers that be, they're telling us that we can't do, or we have to do in a certain way, but what can we do? And I know you know this, Junaid. I was the board chair for a nonprofit, and our local nonprofit, we basically went to the county Department of Health, and we said, well, what can we do? We've had to cancel 7 events.
Yeah.
And we work with the food insecure. So we're always trying to get groceries and food items out to people. And if we can, we connect people with other nonprofits that do the same. And the Department of Health said, well, you can do drive-through events if you're socially distanced, everyone's masked up, and you can partner with a restaurant that has a drive-through. You can give groceries through the drive-through window in their off hours. You can do that. And so we had 5 or 6 successful events during the pandemic because we flipped the script. Instead of hunkering down, we pivoted.
Yeah.
And so for us, we continued on, and we distributed over 20,000 meals last year during the pandemic.
That's beautiful.
This year we made our goal 30,000. We've already surpassed it. I think we're at 45,000 meals already, amazing. And we're a little over mid-year. So that was one thing that I did. And then, of course, we talked earlier in the program about my fitness, my physical, this machine.
Yes.
I want it to go as long as it can. And if we don't take care of our machines, our bodies, they will eventually break down. Yeah. And throughout that process, I actually had some professional developments where I took on a position with a new company, and it's in an emerging space. And it's amazing because every day it's some new innovation is coming into my orbit. And I'm very excited. I know we talked about startups, but it's like I get to be a part of the creative process. I'm like, I'm not the smartest guy here, but this is exciting.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. But it's been very exciting. And I guess my biggest encouragement to people, Junaid, is take life by the horns. Just get into it. Don't be afraid. I think when we allow fear to creep in, because we all get afraid by things. Yeah. That's just the nature of humanity. But don't let fear win. Don't let fear win. Really get out there and experience life and find the things that you like and have a preference for, and areas where you feel like you can maybe find your tribe and express yourself and really help and serve others. That's kind of been my MO for most of my life, but I think it really kind of came alive. And I think we kind of found, you and I got to know each other a little more during the pandemic as well. But I think we start to find the people who share our beliefs and our values when we take that approach to life.
No, that's absolutely beautiful, man. Ability to, number one, pivot, right? Helping or delivering 20,000 food items, or 20,000 packets, right? And then meals, right? 45,000 this year. That's totally amazing. And then, so that was the professional side of things, but then we gotta focus on the physical, the human body, because if the body is not good, then the mind is not going to be able to grow either, because now you're stressed. You're like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do this, right?
Right.
So it's so amazing how it all comes together, right? I'm really inspired, man. Thank you so much for sharing the beautiful journey. Now, I know I said earlier to just share a version of the story that no one's heard of before.
I can go back into the archives.
Let's go back to the archives and let's get the start of like what even inspired you to be doing the things that you're doing. Like, what's a little bit of journey? Like, where did Joel Clelland come from?
Right. Nobody comes from nowhere, right? We see people, some of the most successful people, and like they're just now coming on the public scene. They didn't just pop on there. They came from somewhere, and they developed over time. And I'd say most of my formative years, like late elementary school through like middle school and high school, that was a very impressionable time for me. But that's not unique. Yeah. It's an impressionable time for everybody.
Yes.
If you have good experience in your younger years, your school age years, that's going to kind of set the stage for your life. And I've always been in community service. And the thing is you don't have to start as a kid to get into community service. If you're an adult, if you're a retiree, even, and you've never really been in community service, you've never given back to people that can't give back to you. Just by finding ways to serve. I mean, my father-in-law, when he retired from education, he spent over 5 years teaching computer basics to senior citizens at the local senior center. Service.
That's beautiful.
He wasn't getting paid to do that, but he was comfortable with computers, and he was able to kind of transfer that to other members of the community. I mean, you don't have to be passing out meals or clothing, or kids are getting ready to go back to school full time. So we're doing some backpack and, school supplies distributions.
Nice.
It could be anything.
It could be anything.
I mean, education is huge. Education is valuable for the people receiving it.
It is.
And so no matter what it is you're teaching, even if you're teaching finance or business type of items, there's value that we can bring to the community, and it doesn't mean you have to necessarily get your hands dirty.
Right.
See, a lot of times people kind of shy away from service because they're like, okay, do I need to work with the homeless? Well, you can. There are lots of organizations that do, and it's easy to find those organizations and get to work.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of areas where we can serve. And I think that's what I would encourage most is you're never too old to learn something new. You're never too old to serve. And it doesn't matter what it is. If you're finding a way to kind of give back in some way, I think that helps.
That's absolutely beautiful. because it's just mind-boggling how accessible all of these things are as well, right? And you don't have to be serving time to have to do community service, right?
It's true.
You can
That's right.
you can just go out there, help out in the
Can I share something about that?
Of course.
I've actually, I won't say I've done time, but in 3 different capacities, I've served inmates. Twice as a tutor, and then once as a member of a local religious organization. And so I spent quite a bit of time in various facilities, from work camps to medium security prisons. And so, I mean, they're lonely too.
They are.
And sometimes people were caught up in the wrong group of people, and they made some poor choices. Other people made some really bad choices. But they're still human beings like you and me.
Absolutely.
And if you're looking to give back in some way, there are opportunities, even in situations like that. I mean, one of my last tutor gigs in a prison was I was helping inmates complete their high school equivalency. So I was just helping them I was just like a tutor.
Yeah.
I was a tutor, and I would stop by once or twice a week and just help out. And a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know if I feel called to that. I said, that's fine. There's plenty of places to serve.
Yes, absolutely. Because when you give, right, that's what you're doing when you're tutoring, when you're teaching, when you're helping, you're giving of yourself. And when you do that, you feel a sort of a calm. And I think Tony Robbins put it best. This was an old story of his where he takes his 3-year-old. So his birthday, so he'd bring these balloons, and then it's like, hey, how about we go to this old folks' home and we'll pass out these balloons. And they go, and then, they're not expecting it. So, this little kid's like, here's a balloon for you. And the joy that they feel, and when they feel that joy, they're like, oh my God, you're the cutest. And they're giving him hugs. Now he's feeling like, oh, wow, this is powerful. Right, you get that feedback loop going, and you can do anything, right? So
I agree.
Being around people who are serving, who are of that mindset, also opens up your heart. It makes it softer, right? The more we put out, the softer it makes us. And the only experience that I've had in that aspect is with Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. Being a den leader for the past, 5-6 years. And now, of course, he's in Boy Scouts. But I have another 6-year-old who's going to start.
Webelos?
Yes, Webelos, right? Webelos or I think Tiger or something. But again, he's 6 years old now, so he's going to start his Tiger. But then once he's off to Boy Scouts, my younger one, who's 3 years old, she's going to start her Tiger again. So that's like a 15 years being in Cub Scouts. It's going to be a totally different experience, because not only are we giving of ourselves, but we're also teaching good morals and good values.
Yeah, those kids learn so much in that environment about leadership and integrity, finishing what you start.
Yes.
Huge.
It's absolutely beautiful. Cool, man. Well, it's been really amazing speaking with you, learning about your story, learning about your motivations, the expertise you shared, and what people can do immediately now. Like, go take action. Go find out what are you passionate about, and how can you help other people or teach other people about it. Someone that I really value a lot, Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income, he's got this t-shirt that says, teach everything you know.
Don't keep it a secret.
Don't keep it a secret. Because when you teach it, people now know what you know. And when they know, when they'll find out, when they're looking for somebody, or if somebody's that they know is looking for something, like, oh, I know Junaid knows this. I know Joel knows this. Let me go reach out to them. So when we teach, when we let people know what we know, we create a bridge for them to connect with us to other people. So, here's the fun part of the interview. What is the one hobby that you wish you got into?
And haven't gotten into it yet?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be skydiving, maybe.
Ooh.
Because now that I'm the age I am with the responsibilities I have, I'm not sure I want to do it. I'm like, I think that's a young guy's thing, jumping out of airplanes or something.
Well,
I mean, I've done a lot of things in my life, Junaid, so that's a really hard one because I've learned instruments, I've learned languages. I might want to learn some new languages.
Yeah, maybe
I think that would be fun.
Maybe that'd be a fun thing, especially now with the tech we have.
Right.
Duolingo, right?
Yeah, it's great. I started working on Mandarin a while back.
Nice.
So I'm not very good.
I've started at least 3 different languages. I think I made to level 2 or level 3 with Spanish.
Oh, cool. Muy bien.
¿Cómo estás? Yeah, it's been a while since I practiced it. But yeah, that's awesome. Skydiving is something that I want to try as well. I know my brother's has been twice.
Oh, wow.
And there's this indoor skydiving thing called iFly.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's something
I had a couple of my
try.
Kids.
Yeah.
A couple of my kids did it.
Yeah. My
They
wife
loved it.
My wife already has done it with her teammates. I'm like, what? I wanted to
maybe I can handle something like that.
Yeah, so maybe we could try that one out. Cool.
If I like it, then I can do the plane.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll keep ourselves accountable.
Right. There you go.
All right, next question. What did you want to be when you were a child?
When I was a child, well, I want to first thank some of my teachers in elementary school because I had some great teachers that had me start thinking about the future. And one of my teachers really got me serious about, like, what do you really want to do? And so I thought I wanted to be a psychologist in Hollywood. So like a shrink to the stars.
Oh, nice. Why not?
Have a house in Palos Verdes overlooking the ocean. This is elementary school Joel's mind. But the thing is what that did is that painted a picture for me. And so it made me very driven. And all the way through junior high and high school, I was focused on being a psychologist because, as we know, a psychologist has to go to college.
They do.
And so what got me into college was that idea of being a psychologist or, therapist in Hollywood. Yeah. And after my freshman year of college, I changed my mind. But I was already there. Yeah, I was already in that environment. Nice. And so it just kind of kept me driving. I'm like, well, what am I going to do next? And of course I changed my major several times after that. But what it did was, I think we have a large responsibility to young people to put good things into them and get them dreaming really big. Absolutely. Whatever that is. Yeah. Like I didn't want to be an astronaut. I didn't want to be president of the United States or anything like that. But I just had this idea in elementary school, Joel's mind, that, hey, if you're this guy, you're going to get paid a lot of money. And so it focused me in school. And I say you got to do whatever you got to do to kind of get yourself to perform. Yeah. If you want to go somewhere and be somebody.
100%. Absolutely right, man. That's so true. Next one. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
I think I told you I was a Star Wars fan. Before getting on.
Oh, yeah.
We could talk about Star Wars.
We could talk about Star Wars all day long. Right now.
Right?
Which one of the Star Wars is your favorite movie?
That is my least favorite question.
All right, good.
I love the sagas.
The entire saga.
It's like, I was born with the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. And, as in high school, I was chomping at the bit for them to come out with the pre-trilogy. Yeah. And I just loved them all. I mean, I agree. I've been in some conversations with people. Well, yeah, episode 1 was kind of lame, wasn't it? I mean, well, okay.
It feels
some of the acting was bad or whatever. But I love them all 9 of them. And it's what a great story.
Oh my God. And it's
an amazing story. George Lucas is brilliant.
He's so brilliant. And what's beautiful that it's not going to stop. It's still going. Like
the creativity is, it's continuing. And there's all these like ancillary projects.
Yes,
You know, about Han Solo's story, and then The Mandalorian.
Yes.
And it's just it's so amazing. It's an amazing universe of universes.
It is.
Story.
Absolutely. Galaxy far, far away.
There you
That's
go.
where you got to begin. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I don't know about you, June, but anytime I would go see one of the films for the first time in the theater, just the excitement.
It is, yeah.
You know, like you said, you know, things start rolling, the music, and you're like, yes. Again, they're telling a story.
Well, I've been catching up on the animated parts, like Star Wars Resistance.
Okay. Nice.
I just finished the Bad Batch, which was something new.
Is that good?
Oh my god,
I haven't seen any of that yet.
Because it carries after the Clone War.
Cool.
And how all the it's I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I'll get to it at some point.
Yes. All right, this one's a very similar lines. What movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
I'd imagine it would be something along the Keanu Reeves line of things, like a John Wick or a Matrix kind of a film. And I don't know which character, but I'd want to be in a film. Want to
be in one of them.
Action.
Well, here's something beautiful that you want to know. There's an app called Backstage.com. It's been around for some time. And there's productions happening all the time. You can, in fact, be an extra in any of these films.
That's cool.
I was in New York a couple years ago. I got to be on the set of FBI, the TV show.
Oh, neat.
And you could see me, and I'm like in there for like 2 seconds or 5 seconds, like this guy. Like,
but you're on it.
I'm on it, right? But what's beautiful is I met people that were on the set for Spider-Man or John Wick, and they've met the actors, and they've met these people. This one guy was he's an older gentleman, but he's on all of the episodes for this show that's set out there. I can't remember. It's a newer show, but anyhow, it's so cool because when you get to be part of this network, they just keep calling you back, like, "Hey, we're working on this." So that's something that I got to experience, and I'm always applying and always, sending in my audition tape, like, "Hey, I want to do some more acting."
That's cool.
That's been pretty
great.
Fun. Yeah.
I imagine is it global?
It is global, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, and
that's really neat.
There's also actorsaccess.com where you can say, "Hey, anything that's available in the LA area." You're in the LA area, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm in Southern California.
Nice.
Exactly.
Where in Southern California?
So if you're in, like, I was in downtown Los Angeles the other day. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of outside of downtown LA a little bit.
Okay.
And
nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
my family, we live a little further than that, but I'm kind of in, I always say the greater Los Angeles area.
Okay.
Is where I am. Because
I grew up in Corona, California.
Oh, okay. I know exactly where that is.
All right. And I'll be visiting there soon. So
neat. Maybe we can do a meetup.
Maybe we can meet up.
That would be great.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Who is your favorite superhero?
I see where we're going with these questions.
Well, this is my passion, right? You can see in the back, I got some stormtroopers and
probably I would say either Batman or Superman.
Ooh.
I say Superman just because there have been a lot of varieties of Superman over the years, from George Reeve to the present.
Yeah.
And I like that concept. But what I like more about Batman is he's not really a superhero. He's more of a character. He's a guy with lots of money who has some cool toys.
Yes.
And I'm like, I think I want to be Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
But I really like Superman. If you could subtract the kryptonite in some way.
Well, my friend, you gotta have a weakness, right? It's a plus and a minus, right?
So you can empathize with others.
Yes, absolutely, right.
I get that. I can appreciate that.
I just watched the Justice League Zack Snyder version. It was 4 hours long. Took me at least 3.5 days to watch the whole
to get through.
to get through all of it. But when Batman goes to pick up the Flash and he's like, "What's your superpower?" And Batman goes, "I'm really rich." Oh my God, I love it.
Priceless.
Yes. All right. Last question, not least. If you were a board game, what would it be?
Monopoly.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I loved Monopoly as a kid. Anything having to do with money.
Ooh, anything happening to do with.
But I did like Axis and Allies as well, and
Okay.
I enjoy chess. But if I were the game itself, probably Monopoly.
Nice, I love it. Well, thank you so much. Where can my audience find you, Joel?
Excellent. So I am at Real Clelland on Twitter. I'm mostly active on Twitter, but as you know, Junaid, we met through Facebook. On Facebook as well. For businesses, you can connect with me anywhere. I'm on LinkedIn. And then my company is at centric.com. And if you connect with centric.com, you can get to me as well. But social media wise, probably at Real Clelland on Twitter is best.
Perfect. We'll be sure to include all of the links
Please.
to connecting you, yes, on the website. And thank you so much. This was a ton of fun. I appreciate you. And
you too, Junaid.
We'll be in
Pleasure.
touch. All right. Take care.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode on Hacks and Hobbies. We absolutely appreciate your contribution. You can find additional notes on hacksandhobbies.com. Please share the podcast with your friends and tell them what you learned about our guest today.